Good morning. Every now and then, I like to do a short presentation that I like to call Astrology in Action. And these Astrology in Action presentations focus on things that have happened rather suddenly in the world. Uh, they are little presentations to show you why this or that has happened when it has. So, in this one, I want to take a look at Israel's attack on Iran and why that happened now at this particular moment in time. So let's see if I can share my screen here and we'll get started. And this will take just a few seconds. I have to get rid of some panels so I can see what I'm doing. And let's see, I'm almost there. And we are ready. Astrology in Action. Israel bombs Iran. All right. Yesterday evening on June 12th is June 12th in Scottsdale, Arizona, when this event occurred. Transiting Uranus was making a pretty strong square with transiting Mars. Mars is aggression, assertion, war, accidents, violence. Uranus always breaks up the existing pattern. It's something sudden. It's a hyper kind of energy that can lead to either tremendous creativity or tremendous manic behavior, if you will. So, some sort of sudden aggression that might occur, some sort of sudden accident, as we saw in India with the crash of that Boeing 787 Dreamliner. These are things that can happen under this type of transit. Now, here is a bi-wheel where I have Israel's chart on the inside and the planetary transits on the outside. And it is very clear. Transiting Mars is almost exactly conjunct natal Mars, and transiting Uranus is making a strong square to both transiting Mars and natal Mars. This is why this attack happened when it did. Israel was just ready to pull that trigger. Now, if we look at Benjamin Netanyahu's chart, this is also very interesting. Transiting Mars is also conjunct Netanyahu's natal Mars. So transiting Uranus, again, was making a strong square to both transiting Mars and Netanyahu's natal Mars. This, of course, also means that Netanyahu's natal Mars is conjunct Israel's Mars. And under his leadership, for better or worse, Israel has been very aggressive. But the square from transiting Uranus to Netanyahu's natal Mars while transiting Mars is conjuncted, that also shows us why he, as the leader of Israel, decided to pull the trigger at this moment. Okay, if we look at Iran's chart, there are a few interesting things going on. Transiting Pluto is somewhat midway between being in opposition to natal Jupiter and squaring natal Chiron. And transiting Venus is acting as a trigger here. It's in conjunction with natal Chiron. Now, what this means for Iran is that they are somewhat in a period of transformation, which may not always be easy. With transiting Pluto in opposition to Iran's fourth house Jupiter, this is going to be some type of impression on their luck, their ability to grow and expand. Pluto is traditionally death and transformation. It can bring about tests and ordeals that one goes through. And the people, the homeland of Iran, is going through a period of ordeals at this particular moment in time. It's not just yesterday, but it's going to be ongoing for a while. Pluto is currently moving retrograde, so it's moving back towards an exact opposition to this Jupiter. But it's also within orb of this square to Chiron, and Chiron often manifests as healing. So there are transformative things going on in Iran right now. And the people can be oppressed either from without their borders or by their own leaders. Pluto in the 10th house. And that can cause a lot of wounding to the people and to the country. So this is the background for Iran. Also, let's take a look at the solar arc direction chart, the progressed solar arc directions for the day of the bombing, which would have been, it was June 12th in America, but I think that would be June 13th, probably in Iran. And astrologers, most of them don't seem to use solar arc directions that much. In my experience, they're kind of in between transits and progressions. Transits always show us what the influences are right at this moment. It's what's happening in the world right now. The progressed chart is more psychological, more of an inner influence. Progressions form and change slowly, and they tend to show us what our inner attitude is about things. But when it comes to the solar arc progressions, my experience is that they're halfway in between progressions and transits. They affect things a little bit more outwardly, like transits do, but they also have somewhat of an inner psychological quality to them, like progressions. And in this particular case, in this solar arc progress chart, we can see that there is this stellium of Mercury, Sun, and Mars up here. Let's see, this is going to be in the 11th house of this chart. But that stellium is being squared by Uranus, which is in the 7th house, representing others. So this also signifies the possibility for some sort of sudden action of aggression originating from others. And that, of course, is what has happened. Now, if we look at a biwheel, where I have Iran's chart in the center, Israel's chart on the outside, we can see a lot of the ongoing tensions between these two countries. Israel's Saturn is in strong opposition to Iran's Mars. That means that Israel is going to tend to see Iran as a military threat. Iran, on the other hand, is going to see Israel as overbearing and always trying to control and restrict them. Furthermore, Israel's Sun makes a square to Iran's Mercury and Sun, and this tells us that these two countries have two different points of view. They look at the world in different ways. Furthermore, there's a strong opposition between Israel's Venus and Iran's Venus. And that tells us that the two countries tend to have very different value systems. So there's a lot of intrinsic tension and opposition between these two countries. Hopefully someday it will be resolved in a way that is favorable to both countries and to Israel's people and Iran's people. Now, Israel is not the only country or person being affected by this square between Uranus and Mars. Donald Trump is also impacted by this. Transiting Uranus is making a strong square to his natal Mars and ascendant. And of course, that means that transiting Mars is conjunct that. So, Trump is also being influenced by the stars to be very aggressive right now, to take a lot of action, and perhaps be very angry about a lot of things. With Uranus, the nature of this planet is to, again, break up the existing pattern. It also can create a lot of chaos, and it's very manic. So we would expect a lot of sudden, perhaps rather chaotic actions to be taken by Trump at this time. But if we look at the inauguration chart done for January 20th, 2025, we see that Mars in this chart is conjunct the cusp of the fourth house, and the fourth house represents the homeland and its people. Thus, Trump has been engaging or making war primarily upon the people residing in America. He is trying to do mass deportations, to have millions of undocumented citizens removed from this country and in many cases sent to prisons in other countries, and not always the country of their origin. He has been trying to militarize America's southern border. He declared that the entire southern border is one big military camp, so that anyone who steps upon that southern border can be arrested for trespassing. He has sent the National Guard to Los Angeles, not requested by the governor, not wanted by the governor or the mayor of Los Angeles. And that's being fought in the courts right now. And he is also in the process of sending Marines to Los Angeles to send our own military to one of America's cities. That is an unprecedented action. So there are lots of ways in which Trump has been waging war against the people of America. He is working hard to put down and intimidate people who protest against his actions. He's had a Democratic member of the House arrested, and most recently he had a Democratic senator dragged out of a meeting, handcuffed, and temporarily arrested. So, that is what's going on. That is what Uranus square Mars is producing in the world. And these are some of the people, some of the countries being affected. Okay, well, I'll stop sharing for now. And that is the end of this brief presentation. So I hope you found it interesting and informative. And as usual, I hope you join me for more presentations. But for now, I'll just say so long and be well.